Hey guys, Bushcraft family back again with another video. Woohoo! I'm so excited. Not really, because this has to do with, as you've seen on the title, shortages. Yes, I really thought I was done with these. I thought I was not going to have to do any more of these types of videos. I thought, um, shortages were done. Our food chain was fixed and everything. But guess what? It's not. And a lot of people will blame it on, the weather and global warming and this and that, but there's multiple reasons. It's just not one reason. And that's the thing that needs to be, up front. It's just not one thing. It's the weather doesn't control the whole year. Um, there's other places that we get food from that don't have droughts and don't have weird weather and stuff like that. And there's always going to be weather issues no matter what. You're not going one year you'll have a perfect year, the next year could be crap, like this year with the drought in Ohio area, the Midwest area. With that being said, there is a lot of shortages for the upcoming rest of the year and into 2025. And a lot of them you kind of wouldn't believe. But let's go ahead and get into the shortages. The first one being butter. And when I say shortages, it could just be price increase. Like butter. Per stick of butter, it's went up 65 cents in the last couple years. Why so much? Why so much? Um, last year everybody's probably noticed the price of butter had skyrocketed. Well, it's looking to do that again. So if you're at the point to where you can, have a farmer around that has, real milk that's not been processed and added stuff to it and whatnot. I mean, when you go to the grocery store, um, the gallon of milk, you should look on it and the ingredients. It should just say milk. That's it. Um, the other issue with that is there's a lot of ingredients that they don't put in there. Um, but we won't go into that. But again, butter is on this list. Another one here is I didn't really think of it because you look down there in Florida and it's nice and sunny and everything, but yeah, um, oranges with near tropical temperatures, sun, rain, and sandy soils. Florida has everything it needed to thrive. The state most prolific region for growing oranges. However, in 2022 wasn't as easy for a year of growing oranges and stuff. So that caused 51% loss of crops and stuff down there. It's been the biggest letdown since 1937 for production wise, and they still haven't recovered, and probably won't for at least 2 to 3 good years of production. Our next one is corn. Now, corn, usually in the United States, we are stuck in this ethanol thing with corn. The majority of our corn goes straight into ethanol production, which, a lot of farmers, that was their money crop. And as of late, because our current administration, uh, in the last 2 years, it has become not so much of a money crop anymore, and a lot of farmers are not planting corn anymore. In 2022, 4% fewer acres of corn was planted, meaning we have to go somewhere else, which means higher prices. When we have to bring this stuff in, it's more prices. Not to mention, they're going to say this year, because um, for one thing, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana grow a lot of corn. Um, that being said, this has been a really bad drought this year, for these states, and I'm sure there's others out there, um, that's dealing with this. So prices are going to go up on corn and anything. You know, one of the bad things corn is made into is high fructose corn syrup and oil. Um, both of those are byproducts of the corn, which means those prices will be going up. Also, anything that's, all the soda pop and syrup, candy, you name it, whatever that junk is in, prices will go up. Look at all the fast food ingredients that has that. It's horrible. Now, our next one is flour, which means wheat. But flour is technically, from a variety of grains. The main ingredients of, pasta, pancakes, pizza, brownies. You get it. But again, they're going to say this. We used to get a lot of this from Russia and Ukraine. Now that we cut Russia off, we don't get none of their grain anymore, so they say. And Ukraine is not nearly putting out as much as they used to. So we're relying on us again to grow a lot of the wheat. In the last 2 years, that's been a thing, but we haven't been doing a very good job of it. That being said, flour, and you can pretty much guess the next one, which is bread. Same thing with flour. Bread is in the same boat, with all the stuff that's going on. Yeah. Our next one, which most of us are not going to be worrying about this, but it's still on the list here. Champagne. I haven't had a glass of champagne in many, many years, so it's not that I'll be missing it or anything, but champagne has actually risen by 64% since 2021. And I'm like, really? Wow. And a lot of it has to do with, grape harvest and CO2, that kind of stuff, carbon dioxide stuff that they make the bubbles with or whatever, that thing. And that's been an issue. And that's the reason why that's gone up. And I'm not going to stick to this too much because probably most of us don't drink champagne. And our next one is beer. Believe it or not. Yeah, champagne isn't the only alcohol that's short in 2024. With this, we're looking at higher prices on beer and stuff like that. Yeah, it's prices went way up on this. Not to mention just the container the beer is in, aluminum. Aluminum has went up 30-40%. Um, and this doesn't help, soda pop and, beer and whatnot. Uh, for those that enjoy sitting down at the end of the night and having a cold beer, you probably already know the price has gone up, and it's going to go up more. Most of this stuff in this list is just not what we already know has happened. This is what is to come, in addition to what we're already going through. Our next one is eggs. You would think eggs they're put out so fast. Hens produce so many eggs, it's not even funny. But the fact that first we have the sickness in 2020, and then here comes the bird flu that comes over and wipes out millions and millions of birds. That pushed the prices way up, 3, 4, 5 times the amount that they were. I remember before the sickness thing come, and yes, when Trump was in office, 99 cents for eggs. Those are some of the eggs I didn't buy, but because I always go for the farm fresh, free range type eggs because they're so much better. And they last 10 times more, but beside the point. Right now, they are saying it looks like egg shortage and high prices will continue in past 2025. And at that point, if it's gone that far, we will never see low prices on eggs again. So what's that mean? If at all possible, raise chickens yourself. If anything, just for pets, just to have eggs. I really wish I could have chickens here. I would get rid of the rabbits so fast and just stick with chickens. But yeah, that's where we're at, guys. That's eggs being a cheap, easy source of protein is out the window now. Unless you have your own chickens, yeah. And then you have to worry about what these feed companies are putting in your feed. That's a whole other story. But our next one is vegetable oils. And this is canola oil, soybean oil, palm oil, sunflower oil, which is like you don't see it anymore. 70% of the world's sunflower seeds and oil originate in Russia. So that means very, very slim chance you getting any sunflower oil or anything in that range. Palm oil, Indonesia is the largest palm oil producer, and it decided to stop exporting palm oil in April of 2023. The government said we're limiting our exports because we need it here. And it's odd that so many countries stopped exporting, rice, wheat, and things like that because they needed it for their own country. Why have we not done that? We should be working on our own stuff, but yet we are not. That money, who cares about our own people? We want that money. Canada, leading producer of canola oil, had a very small crop last year, and that's the reason why canola oil is just very slim to find that. If you do find it, it's probably quite old, and you'll see the shortage of it coming in the coming year. South America is one of the biggest producers of soybeans. I'm not a fan of soybean oil or anything like that, but they suffered a major drought last year and this year, so soybeans are very slim to be turned into oil. That being said, yeah, really, really shortages on all the oils. That's why I stick with olive oil or coconut oil for that matter. And our last one here is beef. 2024 is, and again, when I say shortage, there is shortages, and the price of beef has went through the roof. I don't know how long it's been since I had like a nice, good sized ribeye, because I just can't afford it. $30-$40 for just one steak? What? No, I can't do that. Yeah, and it breaks down to the feed the farmers, female cows were unable to have calves, new calves, so there won't be as many going to the freezer camps and stuff like that. But they said, well, our chicken has been, the producing chicken has went way up, which I find odd. If our eggs are in a shortage, where do the eggs come from? They come from chickens. So if we're producing more chicken, well, I know the answer to this, because there are two different types of chickens. There are ones that lay eggs, and there's ones that are meat birds, and they're force fed in a cage until they're fat enough to be head to the freezer camp, more or less. But with everything that's happening and everything, next couple years, we're going to see a lot of shortages on beef. I mean, there'll always be hamburger and stuff. The price of that has went up so much now. But that being said, hamburger is just a bunch of scraps from the cow that doesn't get into its special cuts and stuff. It just gets ground up altogether. That being said, that is our top 10 right there. And it is looking that 2025, if this keeps up, that's where we're going to be heading. More of this. And it's just not, it's all the stuff that this stuff is made with too, that we have to start thinking about. If, flour, oil, corn, all that stuff that's made out of those things, you'll start seeing shortages. And when I say corn, a lot of animals eat, that's their feed, is that corn. If that price goes up, or if there's shortage of that, you get the picture. With that being said, I'm going to leave you at that. Like always, God bless.